Chat's up.
Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MOTOX Pod Show.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Aaron Plessinger, and you guys are listening to the MOTOX Pod Show.
Welcome to the MOTOX Pod Show, starring Darkside, his co-host Scotty, sometimes TJ.
Hey, we are back. It's a factual thing. We're here. We're in studio. TJ's in studio with me. No Scotty tonight, but I want to thank our sponsors first. Our title sponsor, Cherubies USA. For decades, Cherubies USA has been the leader in moto plastic and accessories. With products that fit, perfect, look great, and last, Cherubies has what you need. Whether it's full plastic kits, individual pieces, hand guards, chain guides, and sliders, or anything else they offer, visit CherubysUSA.com and support our title sponsor. And follow them on Instagram. And, of course, let them know you're listening. Also, Racetech is the co-title sponsor. They are the world's largest aftermarket suspension modification company. All Racetech products include award-winning gold valves, and settings are 100% guaranteed and made in the USA. I've got Racetech gold valves in my YZ250. Stuff's plush. So fast on that thing. It's unreal. Racetech also offers state-of-the-art precision engine services and parts to all engine builders. Visit racetech.com for more info and use promo code MOTOXPOD to save. Also on board, Fly Racing. We're going to give away a set of kinetic mesh gear tonight that we talked about what feels like 6 months ago, the last time we did a show, but we've got a winner. We're going to announce that in a little bit. X-Brand goggles, the new Lucid goggles here. This is the X-Brand Lucid conversation about to come up in a few minutes. Trappist Parker used those to crush everybody at the pro race at Diamond Dawn's vintage race this weekend. He had Lucids on. I gave him a set. Works Connection, promo code MOTOXPOD20 to save at Works Connection. You need a start device. You need elite clutch perch. You need radiator braces. WorksConnection.com. Use that promo code. Torque One Racing, our Jerky. I got to order some more our Jerky, TJ. I need some snacks. I need to have some stuff to take with me to MXDN next weekend. I'm going to use that promo code MOTOXPOD21 to get some, but it's good stuff. All right, great. Berm Lords, graphics, and jersey ID. You want new graphics for your bike? You want your jerseys to look bitchin' like mine? Berm Lords Graphics and Jersey ID will take care of you. Also, Shuck Socks, Williams Moto Works, Extreme Colors Helmet Painting, Blood Lubricants, the best oil on the market. MotoX to save at bloodlubricants.com. Power Band Racing, TruFusion Sports, and Grill Your Ass Off. I used some of that for some chicken I made last night. Oh, my God, that stuff's good. I used the promo code MOTOXPOD to save. This is, like I said, the X-Brand Lucid conversation about to come up. TJ, what's up?
Man, we speaking of the grill your ass off, we used it like one of the big bottles. In the last month and a half cooking at work. They Infidel pork rub. Oh, that stuff's so good.
Stuff's good.
And at Maw Deuce, like I tasted it by itself. I was like, oh man, it tastes weird on the steaks. Jeez, like it's so good.
I mix them up. Like, I don't necessarily use the Madu steak one always on steak. I'll use it on chicken. I'll use it in my freaking mashed potatoes. But I have all, like, the Willie Pete's chicken.
Infidel pork rub is good on most everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's really
I use
good.
that on French fries a lot and also in my mashed potatoes. Well, I'm not really eating that kind of stuff so much anymore, so I'm not using it as much.
Yeah, you're less fat now.
Apparently, I'm down. I feel like it's been a long time since we've done a show, so I don't know how much we've talked about any of this. But, yeah, when I was out in California, I finally weighed myself. Michael Lindsay was like, dude, you got to weigh yourself. And I was down like 17 pounds in a month. Really? And I didn't even realize I had 17 pounds to lose.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was getting fat.
Well, it definitely didn't come off the head, so.
I don't know what to say about that. I don't have any comments on that. But, yeah, the stuff's great. Yeah, Yeah, you're back in studio. No Scotty tonight. He's just not here.
Just didn't show up.
Just didn't show up.
I mean, like we waited for him. That's why we're running a little bit late. We're late because Scotty was supposed to be here. I obviously had to set it all up. So, I mean, he's left us hanging. Yeah,
it sucks. But I mean, that's Scotty for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we got a few things to talk about. We got MXDN coming up. We haven't had a show since Paula. But first, Fly Kinetic Mesh giveaway. What we asked a few shows ago, or actually probably the last show, was to post a picture, basically of you anything of your motocross related, dirt bike, you riding, whatever. Tag us, tag Fly Racing. We picked a winner
out of the thousands that entered.
I think it was like 870.
Yeah.
But we drew a name, and it was 208 Brando, which is Brandon Stagner.
Yeah.
He's the winner. It was actually a pretty cool pick. His kids, I think it was like his kids sitting on the tailgate. They had gone riding or were going riding. Little family pick, kind of nice. So
that's cool.
That's the one that got picked. That's the winner. Awesome. I sent him a message on Instagram. If you haven't checked it yet,
did we post it up on the IG like his picture?
I didn't repost it. No, I can though.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool to do.
We know Scotty's not going to do it.
No.
So, but what I need you to do, Brandon, if you haven't seen your messages, go to flyracing.com. Pick out your favorite 2 colorways of the Kinetic Mesh gear. Email motoxpodshow@gmail.com. Tell me what the 2 different colors are you want, what size you want, and we'll see what they have in stock, and we'll get you hooked up.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the new stuff too, right?
That is the new stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's good. I got a set. I've been riding quite a bit.
Yeah.
And been wearing a lot of the mesh.
Heck yeah.
Before we get into it, though, tonight is 244, episode 244. We've got Privateer Matt Burkeen. And if you aren't watching his vlogs on YouTube, they're some of the funniest ones out there. There was at Unadilla, he's the guy that crossed the finish line at the exact same time as Chase Sexton did.
Yeah.
And he did the fist pump with Chase.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And he was like on his things. Like, I don't know. Chase must have thought he won or something. I don't know why he was so excited. It's like,
that's awesome.
It's just a really funny video. I think it was the same round. He was like, yeah, I got a little dusty in this moto. And he just has like this dust storm devastating a city going through. Like, there's a lot of humor and thought put it. Well, I don't think it was. It wasn't Paula. It was earlier in the season.
I was just making a joke about how bad Paula was.
Well, it was pretty bad. But like his vlogs are very funny. He's a 2-stroke guy making the shows on the 2-stroke. So we're going to talk to him. Paul Perebijnos is going to come on, talk about the Raise It for USA golf tournament we had a couple weeks ago, the fundraiser, how that's going, what he's been doing with MXDN stuff. He's part of that now. And then Kade O'Grady is a mechanic. He was Dino's mechanic for the last part of the season. He's worked with Max Miller, Chris Howell, Derek Drake, and I actually met him before he ever got his first professional job. So we're going to get him on. It's been years since
we've had him on. Well, the funny thing is I noticed today going through some stuff, getting ready for the show, that he was on episode 70. So I don't know if that was the first time he was on. I didn't listen back, but yeah, that's just kind of cool.
I think he's been on a couple times, so I don't remember, but I met him at St. Louis in 2018. Yeah, and we had him on shortly after that. That would have been probably
that was 2018. That was 2018.
Yeah, but I bet it was before that. I think we've had him on a couple times.
Yeah,
hard to say which one you saw, but anyway, good guy.
Got to hang out with him in the pits a few times. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's worked really hard to work his way up through the industry, so we're going to talk to him. But yeah, so let's talk about Paula. Just do you have any thoughts? Because we haven't really talked about it. The motos were really good. I mean, obviously a lot of pressure on both those guys, and unfortunately Chase just kind of didn't get the job done, pushed too hard in the second moto, and I really just kind of threw it away.
You think that he would have won it even if he was on his A game?
If he had won the first moto,
but he didn't win the first. That's what I'm saying.
You said only in the second. Are we only talking about the second moto? Like, what are you asking?
Well, I mean, the first moto, I think Eli would have won.
Okay,
right?
Well, he did win.
No, I'm saying I'm saying Chase would. I think he.
Yeah, wins. I think Eli had it that day.
Yeah, he won it. He was going to. Yeah. I think he was going to win or die trying, kind of a deal.
I was supposed to do an interview with Chase today for Vital, and he didn't come through.
He says he's probably at his psychiatrist right now.
No, he's
talking
good.
Through some problems.
We've texted, and he was good. And he actually. Well, we'll wait till Paul comes on. We got a little news about that.
But
the boys might have rode together.
Oh yeah,
the team.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I heard some rumors. So we're gonna see what Paul knows.
If he actually, if he knows anything, I doubt he would know anything.
You don't think?
No.
Probably not. No. We'll see. We'll find out when we talk to him.
But the point I was trying to make is I don't think there was any chance of him winning. I guess you'd say.
Not any chance. Come on, man.
Not after that first moto when Eli was like, I'm just gonna win. I just don't. After seeing that, I'm like, yeah, it's over. I mean, but I thought Eli was gonna win anyway. So
okay, yeah, I pulled for Chase, but my picks haven't gone so well. Oh, but my fantasy in that round, woo!
I don't
36th overall.
I have officially retired from fantasy.
You suck.
And I did this year.
I mean, if you got beat by me, you suck.
I did. I think the only person in our league, in our little like local friends league, that didn't beat me was JT's girlfriend,
Taylor.
I think she's the only one that didn't beat me.
Right.
And Mark didn't play, so I beat him.
Yeah.
He's still in the group.
But it was still close.
It was still close, exactly. So no, it was good racing.
Yeah. Put that camera on me if you would for a second.
Okay.
So I don't know. Can you see the Slayer jersey behind me, the new one, on the camera?
Yes, the black one.
Yes.
Yes.
So I got the new Slayer jersey in, the Liat Slayer jersey. Chris Elliott from Team Solitaire sent that to me. So I want to shout out to Chris and Team Solitaire for hooking me up with another Slayer jersey.
That's
badass.
two.
Yeah, the other
they're
one,
both
red
right
one's
there. You can see both of them.
That's last year's.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's really cool. I want to shout out to them. And then at the last show, I gave a shout out to this band. It's on camera right now if you guys are listening to post. Hellfire is a San Francisco kind of a speed metal band. Like they remind me of old school like Testament, Metallica back in the 80s. And Tony the guitar player is a Motorhead. He's a Pulp guy. And I ordered this new album, Reckoning, and I never got like a confirmation email. I never got anything saying that I ordered it. It was shipped, and it was like a week or two later. So I was like, well, maybe I never hit purchase or whatever. So I went and ordered another one. And the next day, this one showed up, the first one. So I have an extra. So if you are an old school metalhead and you have a record player, this is a vinyl, just send us an email, motoxpodshow@gmail.com. Tell me what kind of bands you like, why you want to check out Hellfire, if you already know Hellfire, whatever. Just give me a little synopsis of what music you're into. I'll pick a random winner, and I'll ship out this vinyl for you guys. I don't need 2 copies of it.
Is that the yellow one?
This is the yellow one. Yeah, I kept the splattered one. It's
yeah,
like
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really
cool.
cool.
No, I'm just saying I'd never seen colored vinyl.
Oh, really?
Before. Yeah.
I have
cool.
lots of it. Yeah, I've got one that's like multicolors,
that's
and
cool.
yeah, they do special edition stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, send us an email if you're interested in the Hellfire Reckoning vinyl album, and I'll pick a winner and give that thing out. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool looking.
They shred.
For the people who can't see it online, it's
and they're playing.
Me of
they're playing Dallas like in a month. I'm gonna go out to that show and check it out and hang out. Okay, that just reminded me.
Okay.
Last week, Chris Betts was in Dallas.
And you went and watched him?
I went and watched him play.
Did he get to play?
He did play. That's why I went.
Okay.
He texted me and said, yeah, I'm playing tomorrow. So I made the plans to go down and play.
I think I talked to you when you were on your way there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ryan Tanner, who is he helps out Mark sometimes with some pulp stuff. He's from Dallas. I gave him a ticket. We went and watched Betts play. It was great. Like, I don't really care much about baseball.
It's fun when you know somebody.
It was super fun because the stadium wasn't that full. So when I yelled at Betts, they heard it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, it was great. I have video. Awesome. If you guys haven't checked out my Instagram, and I put it on Twitter today under a Tulsa Drillers post, but he's walking up to bat, and I go, Betts, you got a bike? So I asked him afterwards, I said, you hear that? He goes, oh, yeah. He said it was great. He could hear everything. I was yelling at him almost every time at bat, but I couldn't do like the dirtier quotes because he texted me on the way. He said, look, you're going to be sitting in the family section, and the stadium's not going to be very full. Be careful with the hazing or whatever the term is they use.
Yeah.
It's like, be careful with what you say. So I chilled it back a little bit, but it was fun. And we went to dinner afterwards and hung out a little bit. And yeah, he had a really good game. They lost, but he played really well. So that was cool. Got to hang out with Chris Betts.
Hopefully I'll be in town next time they're coming through or something like that.
Season's over after this week. And,
wow.
And we'll just say he won't be back to play here.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, that was it. That was why I went to see him.
Oh.
Because I didn't know if he was going to stay with that organization or not. But I shouldn't say he won't be back. It's very unlikely that he'll be back to play
with that organization.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. So we've only got a few minutes until we got to get our first guest on. I was going to touch on MXD in a little bit, but instead I want to touch on Diamond Dawn's vintage racing.
Dude, I have yet to ever get to go to that.
It's really cool.
Every time that they wind up having it through, like in our area, I mean, it's always in our area, but every time they have it, I'm either at work or there's another race I'm going to, or I'm on the road or whatever. I have got to make it one year because I think it'd be cool mainly just to see the bikes. And, I mean, obviously a lot of fast older guys show up there too.
So I took my camera and I'm learning to use. So really, I just put it on auto and shot pictures.
Yeah.
I don't have the understanding, but I took a ton of pictures. I am building an article for Vital on the vintage race.
Oh, that's
Blake
cool.
Wharton was there. Trappist Parker, Kevin Windham showed up. He was like the legend hero guy this weekend. Scotty Winterstrom obviously is local. He showed up. John Short, Dallas guy, showed up. So there's some really fast guys there. And there's another guy, I cannot think of his name, Glenn something, that's super, super fast on the 200s. That they do the pro race at intermission of the regular rounds, the regular classes.
On 200s?
The 200s. They do like a 100 and a 200 class.
Gotcha.
The 200 class is what everybody shows up for, like XR 200s. And Trappist just annihilated everybody.
Yeah.
But there's some really good pictures that I'll be posting soon on Vital of some just beautiful old bikes, Bultacos, Makos, just stuff that's like the craftsmanship of those old bikes just looks so freaking cool.
What's the track like?
It's an old school, like mellow, natural. There's only like really a couple roller jumps. You barely even get any air.
But I mean, like, is there like elevation changes to the track?
Not much. There's a dam jump. It's sort of like a dike or whatever that goes around the facility that you go up and over twice.
Yeah.
But you really don't get a ton of air the way it's set up. Those bikes can't handle much air, right?
Yeah.
So there's not really a whole lot of elevation, though. Very minimal.
Well, I know they have it there every year. I didn't know if the facilities were like really cool or if it just
It's beautiful, and you'll see some of the pictures and stuff. I took a little bit of video. Michael Gage was out there. Gage actually beat Kevin Windham because Kevin crashed.
He beat Kevin Windham.
That's what I said, dude. You could put that on your resume. And then when I interviewed Windham, I kind of told him, I had my buddy, and his buddies were in the motorhome.
Yeah.
So as Kevin's talking about, like, I said, hey, man, do you think you'd ever want to get back involved with motocross or coaching? And all his buddies were like, yeah, because that Gage guy beat you. Like, just every few seconds, oh, that Gage guy beat you. He was just shaking his head like, oh, my God. So got some good interviews with
Wyndham's he is involved with that that Real Deal.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, I brought that up in the interview, and he's like, yeah, we need to cut that out. They're gone.
Oh.
So they parted ways, but he does want to get back involved. I don't want to give too much away. Check out the interview on Vital.
Yeah, we will.
I should have it out in the next couple weeks. It's a lot to build, but I interviewed him, Wharton, Randy Richardson was there. Randy shreds.
Really?
I got some good video of him riding. A lot of fun hanging out with him, but a lot of that will be in the article because there'll be a video article or whatever put up on YouTube with some video, some still pictures, and then the written article. So check that out if you guys are from around this area or
on Vital's
vitalmx.com.
on the
and
I'm
their
saying
YouTube channel.
The YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully next week I'll have it up. But that was a really cool event. We don't have a whole lot more time to talk about it, but it's something. If you are in the area of East Texas or Oklahoma, Arkansas, and you get a chance, it's every year about this time. Diamond Dawn's Vintage Race, and I think there's a website. They definitely have a Facebook page. Check it out. It's really, really cool history. Our buddy Garrett Rockley, who listens to the show, his dad was there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, his dad actually talked to me, and I guess SoCal Jamie didn't realize it was him, and I didn't really talk to him. Like, I mean, I acknowledged that he was there, but I didn't realize it was Garrett's dad.
Garrett's in the chat right now.
Yeah, I felt like a total. He didn't look the same as last year.
Oh, okay.
Garrett said, yeah, he's growing his hair out. You cut yours, and he's growing his out. I just didn't recognize him, and I'd only met him the one time, so I felt like a butthole.
Yeah.
But
people get this. People are now seeing who you really. The other day you went off on the Pulp show. You just lost your cool.
Yeah, dude.
Telling people to F off. You're just too cool for stuff now.
Oh, those guys at the voicemails are assholes.
I mean, they're just calling it like they see it, bro.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, well, I mean, they are. You're right. The dude had some funny comments, I guess. But anyway, yeah, so we're about to get into Matt Burkeen. Anything? Did you get to do any riding recently?
I have not. I think the last time I rode was Steve's with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been
on the
working.
Two-stroke, yeah. Come on, man. I was riding good that day.
You've been riding really good. Like that's the first time that we've ridden together in a long time where I'm like, there's no chance of me keeping up. Like, there's been times you've been faster than me and we were riding.
Well, in all honesty, usually because you were like on a 125 and I was on a 450.
But still, what I'm saying is that was the first time where I'm like, yeah, there's not a chance. Like, there was no way I would be able to keep up. Like, it just didn't have the speed. So.
Troll training. I'm in full training mode for Vet Nationals.
Well, there you go.
But then I went to California like the following week.
Yeah, what's up with that?
And I rode absolutely garbage at Glen Helen and Paris.
The thing that made me feel good after we were out there riding this last time, where I was like, hey, let's do some motos where you have to try to pass me. And we were like, creating battles
Yeah.
and how winded and gassed you got from that, I'm like, oh yeah, he's
yeah. I mean, I'm definitely have a lot of work to do.
yes.
But I caught you and passed you and Cooley on the first lap. But then we
multiple times.
But then we started the back and forth stuff,
And that's
at a
what
slow pace, and just elbow in and cutting off. And that's I got worked. I didn't get worked. I got tired.
yeah, quickly.
But that was also at the end of the second moto. Like I've been doing 2 20, 25-minute motos every time we go.
You're gonna have to start doing that if you want to be like better with the racing part.
Oh yeah, yeah. But then I rode yesterday on the 350, which I haven't talked about either. I got that Husky 350.
Yep.
It's the most fun I've ever had riding a motorcycle. I love that motorcycle.
JT Cooley has been preaching the 350 for years, and I had one for a while and loved it.
Yeah, I'm all in on the 350.
Yeah.
I'm not giving that bike back to Husky Michael unless Michael Lindsay wants to drive to Texas and take it out of the shop that's not built yet.
Yeah.
He's not getting it back.
There you go.
That's
I
my
like
bike
it.
now.
I like it.
I mean, prove that it's not.
Exactly.
I love that bike. So anyway, yeah, I've been trying to ride a lot. Maybe at the end of the show, if we have a few minutes, we'll talk a little bit more about Vet Nationals coming up and what all that.
Yep, what
because
the
we haven't
plans
really
are.
had time to talk about it, but we got to get Matt Burkeen on. So we will be right back. What's up, guys? Our first guest of the night. He's a first timer on the show. I don't know what's taking us so long to get him on, but he is going to be brought to you tonight by Racetech, which is the world's largest aftermarket suspension modification company. All Racetech products include award-winning gold valves, and settings are 100% guaranteed and made right here in the USA. Visit racetech.com for more info and use promo code MOTOXPOD to save. Tonight, Racetech brings us a guy that TJ might have the funniest vlog of all the moto vlogs, privateer Matt Burkeen. What's up, Matt?
How's it going, y'all? Appreciate you having me on, and stoked to be presented by Racetech. I love my Racetech, so I'm glad they're presenting me.
Yeah, Checkers is an okay guy. He's not too bad. I mean, he definitely the master of the air wheelie, so we got to give him some credit. And I dig my Racetech stuff also. I've got it on my YZ250 two-stroke, my 22 model. So we're like Blue Crew brothers.
Oh, we really are. That's why I actually was with Checkers whenever I think he ran across you at Millville, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's my guy. He's got a YZ250. I know who that is.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I didn't really know your vlog until it was probably after that. I think the Unadilla one was the first one I saw, and I was like, oh, my God, this thing – I was cracking up, dude. I was telling TJ at the beginning of the show, like, you fist pumping with Chase and the little insert of the dust storm blowing through its town that you put in. And, like, you put a lot of work in your vlogs, and you're just a funny guy.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And it's funny. I actually just do the vlogs on an app on my phone. So, like, for Unadilla, while my girlfriend was driving, I was just editing on my phone in the passenger seat, and that's usually how I would do it. So it's honestly not anything, like, too extravagant, but growing up, like when I lived at a training facility when my bike was broken, like I would film people all the time just for fun. So it's kind of something that I really enjoy doing. Like I think it was Redbud. I was actually done with my vlog Saturday night after the race.
Nice. Yeah, I like getting my stuff done fairly quick too. So yeah, TJ here, he does some editing on his phone, and I haven't gone that route. I do everything on the laptop still.
Yeah, I've got like a little YouTube channel that I shoot some random car stuff with, and I've got to where I do everything on my phone now. Like the phones have gotten good enough. I do all the video editing, all the important music, everything. It's now all on just basically a random phone app that I downloaded for my iPhone.
Yeah, it's just so easy. And I mean, I'm sure that there's like bigger and better things that I could do like on a computer with a real editing app, but I don't even really know how to do those things anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
I feel like this is like the perfect thing for me to be using.
Yeah, I'm learning to use like Adobe Premiere, but yeah, I'm with you. Hey, I want to ask you about this year. You made I think 6 other outdoor rounds, but you haven't raced outdoors since 2018, and then before that was 2014. Why the gaps?
So 2014, I think I did 6 of them on a 250F that it needed more work than it had, but we did what we could with what we had. And that was like straight out of amateurs. That was supposed to be my A-class year. And we kind of just figured, if we're going to have to spend all this money to race, like let's go race pro, kind of screw it at that point. And then after that, I was supposed to do some Supercross, and I had a few injuries and was kind of over it for a few years. I actually took like a year or 2 where I didn't even really ride at all. Went to community college for a little bit, and then 2018, I was working at South of the Border, helping train kids down there. And I did Muddy Creek in 2018 because I was wanting to do a two-stroke race that they were having at intermission that day. And the two-stroke that I was supposed to ride, the kid blew it up like 2 weeks before the race. So I last second was like, screw it. I have my 450 and Muddy Creek's like one of my favorite tracks. So, why not try? So that was where the 2018 one came from. And then I ended up going back to school at a university to do business, to do marketing. And then I think, shortly after the Nationals, I got a Suzuki 450 to get like good contingency money and all that. And sorry to all you Suzuki fans out there, but I really did not enjoy it. It actually made me kind of quit again for a while because I just wasn't I wasn't gelling with it.
You weren't kicking with it?
I was not gelling. Yeah, it was not good. So I actually quit again for like another year, and then I got the two-stroke, and ever since I got that, I just have been having more and more fun and getting more and more comfortable on it.
Well, I was watching your vlog from the pro-am at Dublin Gap, and I feel like you got worked by a guy on a Suzuki.
We all got worked by a guy on a Suzuki. He was ripping. A kid named Chase Yenser. He was actually riding for the Bar X team, I think, for the last 3 or 4 outdoors. I think he just came out of amateurs.
Okay.
So obviously, like, he rips anyway, but his family actually owns that track too. So I think we were going to have a tough time with him regardless, no matter what he was on. I mean, it shows because he put it to us on the Suzuki, but I think he's got a pretty good Suzuki. It seemed pretty stout, but he's a good rider anyway, regardless.
Yeah, I was just busting your balls a little bit, but I like the way your program is, though, man. Like you're throwing your bikes into, whether it be your old beater truck or your girlfriend's dad's truck, whatever it takes, and your girlfriend's riding with you or her dad's going with you. It's a very, very old school privateer program, and it seems like you're just having a good time and making motos.
Yeah, but that's honestly the only way we really know how to do it at this point. And even, a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago or so, I was kind of over it again with racing because I was just going everywhere by myself, doing everything solo. And even just hitting, the races around, the neighboring states, just doing everything alone was kind of getting old.
Yeah.
And whenever she started coming to the races with me, and then her dad also being like the ultimate hype man, like it kind of kickstarted like what you guys are seeing today, because I really don't think that I was ever this fast even growing up. Like I really think I'm at my best right now. Like I still have some things I need to iron out because obviously my results were not good, but I really think like as far as like raw speed and like how I feel on the bike, I really don't think I've ever felt better.
Oh, that's great. That's really cool to hear that's progressed like that. And TJ, I don't know if you've seen any of his vlogs yet, but
I haven't.
His girlfriend's dad goes with him as a mechanic, and it's like he's like a super fan too.
Yeah.
So he's like, he sees like Ken Roxon or whatever go by. He's like, oh, that's Ken. Like he's not paying attention to Matt. He's paying attention to the other guys. But then when Matt's riding, he's like screaming his head off for Matt.
That's awesome.
Most mechanics are kind of being quiet, and he's like super fanning out. It's such a fun vlog to watch.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised he didn't get kicked out, to be honest with you. Like, as I was reviewing the footage on the way home from Budds Creek, I was like, dude, I don't know if they're going to let you back at Ironman. And then Ironman, I come off the first practice, and he's like, oh, dude, you're going to love where I was filming from. And I'm like, oh, God, where were you? He goes, oh, I got escorted off. Don't you worry. And he was, like, in the infield with team managers, just, like, hanging out, filming, just having a good time.
That's great.
That's awesome. Did you run the whole season on the two-stroke?
Yeah, so I did High Point through what was the last one? High Point through Ironman.
Yeah.
But I skipped Southwick because I figured if I went there I was gonna blow up my bike. And so instead, you guys are gonna love this. Instead I went to a money race in Ohio and blew my bike up there.
Nice.
But
Hey, yeah,
and is that farther from you in Ohio, or like where are you out of?
It was a bit closer, and it's close to where my family's at, so I was able to see them too. But it was actually really, I should have vlogged that one too, because a buddy of mine that lives in the same town as me that also rides the YZ250.
Yeah.
He and I went up there together, and second lap of practice, I don't know what happened to him, but he like endoed and got knocked out. And it was just this whole gnarly ordeal, like me having to go to and from the hospital the whole night Saturday after racing. And then Sunday I blow my bike up. And
Wow.
And then the craziest part of all, like it was almost an even bigger disaster because my buddy, we took his truck, and the next time he drove it, the truck seized up on him.
Dude, you have no luck. Like the most recent vlog of the Pro-Am, TJ,
Yeah.
he takes his girlfriend's dad's truck
Right.
to go to this money race.
Right.
It ends up being a mutter. He crashes like 5 times, it seems like.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any money. His girlfriend shuts the door of her dad's truck, and it blows the rear window out, like, or part of it. So it's like, he's having no luck, dude. It's almost like a comedy. Like, this is if they wrote a comedy about a dirt bike rider, this is Matt Burkeen.
So Matt Burkeen needs to like start a scripted reality show of how 2022 went.
It doesn't have to be scripted. Just go watch this vlog.
Yeah, you don't have to script it. That's why me and my girlfriend have been saying, like, I damn near just need to like vlog life at this point.
Yeah. So traveling with that, do you feel like the two-stroke, obviously it revitalized you, gets people behind you and stoked about it, but do you feel like your results could have been better on a 450, or do you think you'd have just been lost in the pack kind of? You get what I'm asking?
Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting you asked that because I right after the season was over, I actually got a used Yamaha 450 just to race at like money races in the fall. Because in the fall, there's a lot of like big money purse races throughout like the East Coast. So I kind of just got that for that, just to kind of like see what I could do on it. And it's a lot better for the start is like my main thing, because that's where I struggle racing the two-stroke everywhere.
Right.
But right now, and I don't have a ton of time on the 450 just yet, but I feel like I'm really, really similar speed. But it's a lot easier on the 450, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But the lower heart rate, I think, is made up for an arm pump because this sucker is fast.
Right. Yeah, I was just curious
Real
about that
fast.
because I see guys in the past and through the years who have gotten on two-stroke and done good, and then it helps them.
Done good.
They've done.
Hillbilly.
They have done.
Done
okay.
well.
They've done good. Whatever. They've done well.
I done good.
All right, shut up. Anyways, so they what was I trying to say? He just completely threw me off my game. And I don't have much. No, what I was trying to say is they do good with the two-stroke, and then they move to the four-stroke, and it's almost like then they're just part of the riders that are in the middle of the pack again. You know what I mean? Where they they stand out for fantasy, and we like those riders for fantasy motocross. But for actually getting sponsors, you just you don't have any, I guess you'd say,
results.
Not results, but any flash. Nothing that makes you stand apart from the crowd.
I'm with you.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I like riding this 450 too, but I like the two-stroke a lot better, and the people like it a whole lot better. And if I were to do it on the 450, maybe let's even just say I'm like a 20th place guy, and like that in the 450 field this year, like, there was really, really good guys that are like 20th place.
Right.
And even if I were to do that, like nobody would really care. Where like High Point, for example, my first moto of the season, I think I got like 37th or something. Like, it was awful. Like, I was actually like embarrassed, and it was insane how many people came through my pit just like loving it that I was even out there. And like, yes, I would have, had I been out there for 30+2 just grinding my balls off for a 20th, like nobody would even like have known.
Being that we're a Race Tech sponsored show and you're a Race Tech rider, have you talked to them about building like a 250 two-stroke that could maybe have more bottom to get you on a better start, like building the motor, actually building a motor and a full program like that? Or are you running a pretty close to stock bike?
So as of now, it's actually pretty close to stock. I actually, now that you mentioned that, I would love to talk to them about it, but I was actually thinking about it today. I think all in, the bike has like $600 in it. It has like a $300 head cylinder job, an FMF pipe, and some V-force reeds, and that's it. And then the Race Tech suspension. Then they took great care of me on that.
Right.
But as far as like the motor and all that, it's just about a $600
just
investment from stock.
Next year, just a giant Race Tech logo on the radiator shrouds, have the Race Tech motor, Race Tech suspension, put it in the top 20.
I'm into it. I'll
like
put a flag on. I don't care.
I'd like to get my hands on that exhaust because I can't get one. They're out. Everybody's out of it.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I need one too because mine is absolutely torched between like, everything I've done this year. And then like, even especially after Unadilla, it was pretty bad.
As many hours as he has on the bike, probably needs a gnarly pipe to hold up.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of, like you talked about, sponsor or making an impact, who's helping you out? Because the way you're doing this has to be very expensive. What kind of support do you have?
So my main sponsor, it's kind of unique how it came about. I was at a race at South of the Border. I'm not sure if you've seen this on my YouTube or not, but Nick Romano was actually there. And I don't know. I still to this day don't know how I did this, but I guess it was just a track I was comfortable in, a day I was comfortable. But I kind of ran with Romano for a couple motos, but I had like tons of bike problems throughout the day. And I was telling a friend of mine on the gate for a 25 plus moto that just like everything that had gone wrong that day. And the dude that was next to him, like heard everything that I had said. And he owns a car dealership that sells and details, transports, like Lambos, McLarens, Porsches, like all that. So he contacted me and he was like my title sponsor for the year. So he helped me out a ton. And then another there from Pennsylvania, but an insulation company was also super, super helpful, helped me out with gas and some entry fees as well. And then other than that, it was just a lot of smaller companies and local support that really helped me out. Even people that didn't have a lot to give, we're still trying to help, which was really, really cool. I mean, a little bit from a lot of people makes a lot. So I don't like to be like one of those like handout type of people, but I mean, after the first round, people were dying to help. So, I mean, I kind of had to let them.
That's great. Yeah. I like the story of the guy that hears your struggles and decides he's going to help you out while, on the line or whatever. That's really cool that how our industry can work.
It's crazy how it happened too. And like, he's a religious guy and he's like, man, I prayed on it and like something just told me that you really need help. And I said, man, you were right. Cause I do really need help. Like I was about ready to pack it up.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I have a son whose first year trying to be pro was this year. He's struggled a lot. And he said the thing that he struggled with, probably one of the things was not being able to ride during the week because he's driving to the races. Like, how does your program work with that and where are you training?
So that's definitely like one of the harder struggles, but for me it's been probably about 8 years since I've really been doing riding during the week, so it didn't really faze me much. I was hoping to do like a bit of a boot camp of sorts before the season, but then I jacked my shoulder up pretty bad like a month before High Point, so I barely even made it to the first round. But to be honest with you guys, between High Point and Ironman, I practiced 4 times, and they were all between Washougal and Unadilla. I managed to link up with some of the Club MX guys like Marchbanks and Mikkel Rath, the Martin brothers, Justin Rodbell, Freddie Noor, and a bunch of those guys, and just pretty much got my teeth kicked in for a couple of weeks, but it was really good for me. But other than that, like, I basically was just going to the gym every day, doing whatever I could off the bike. But as far as on the bike, it really wasn't much. And it was mainly because I only had this one race bike to ride. I have another bike, but it's been a skeleton back here in my bike room for about 3 or 4 months because I keep having to steal parts off of it for this bike. So,
full privateer.
Yeah, no, practice was not really in the program.
So I definitely need to have a sit down with Doc and tell him he sucks.
Well, we know that. Yeah.
No,
just based off of his
that's
story?
my son I was talking about. Yeah, just based off of this guy on a 2-stroke, making it into the motos against the 450s.
Why do you even bother, Doc? Just quit.
Just quit, Doc. Oh, my God.
Matt, I wanted to ask you, your girlfriend, Brianna, I've mentioned her a couple times. She rides, too. But you said earlier, like, your girlfriend started going with you, and you sort of got reinvigorated and found the love for the sport again. Was that a new relationship, or she just started going to the races with you after being together for a while?
No, that was a new relationship. Okay. And like right whenever we got together, it was like the first time I had rode in months. And she was staying with her dad at the time, and he lived close to a track that I'm actually going to go race at this weekend, Lake Sugar Tree. And me, her, and her dad went out and raced, and My pipe had gotten like so dented in that like it was like coming off of like the intake. So I actually borrowed her dad's pipe for the first race that they came to me with. But man, like ever since then, like we had so much fun, and that I never really had people around me like that to like pump me up like they did. Like they're like the ultimate, hype man and hype woman for me. And it's crazy like how much the mental game really does help. And I know, Darkside, I know you've heard Kiefer say this, but home life is actually the real deal, I discovered.
Yeah, that's not, I can't argue with that, to be honest. So, TJ, what do you think about home life?
Mine's great, but I don't know. I mean, is that what you're
hates
asking?
you, though.
She does hate me, but
that's why you're gone all the time. She makes you work two or 3 weeks out of a time.
She says that because I work out of town, she says that I'm gone long enough for her to miss me, and I'm home long enough for her to want me to leave.
Right.
So
that's perfect right there.
It works out good. No, I see it's a big deal. I see it with a lot of riders. Something, just having that support, I think, is more than just having a happy life. It's somebody who's supporting you in what you want to do.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's what it is. So,
Matt, before we let you go, what are the chances of you hitting some Supercross? Is that something that you could see happening?
The chances of me hitting Supercross are 0%. Okay. I hate to let anyone down, but I am not into Supercross at all. I tried to do a couple of go-arounds at Supercross, and it absolutely bit me both times. And as supportive as Brianna is, I also think she would probably cut me if I tried to race Supercross.
Oh, wow.
I don't think she's into it either.
She's not into it. Well, I guess you're
but neither am I. That's the main thing. I am not into it. I do think I'm going to be trying to do some arena cross this winter. I don't know like what series or if I'm just going to do it around my local stuff or what I'm going to do, but I'd like to try to do some arena cross this winter.
That's going to be a stacked, like arena cross is going to, I've heard so many of the privateers hitting arena cross this year.
Well, but there's also some of those guys are going to World Supercross.
This arena cross is going to be amazing.
But here's the thing: there's a lot of guys that are going Supercross only. Matt's a motocross only.
Motocross only.
Yeah, yes. So, Justin Cooper's
just like the Dunge.
Yeah,
just like the Dunge.
Yeah,
I mean, he did cross the finish line with Chase. I mean, he's had a great year.
Yeah, that was. I don't know why Chase was so excited when. Yeah, I guess he was excited for Matt.
Funny story about the Dunge real quick before y'all let me go.
Yeah.
I lined up next to him at Washougal, or actually I take that back. He lined up next to me because he had a DNF, so he was like last gate pick, and he lined up next to me. And am I allowed to swear or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I looked at Dungy, he pulls in, and I was like, Dunge, you're a fucking legend, man. And he looks at me, he goes, I don't know about that. That might be you on that two-stroke.
We lost him.
All right.
I muted myself. I'm sorry. Where'd you guys lose me?
So what you said, he said, I don't know about that. Then what'd he say?
Yeah, he was like, I don't know about that. That might be you on that two-stroke. And I was just like, wow. Are you kidding me?
You needed a too bad they don't allow GoPros anymore because you could have had that on, for life.
Yeah.
I know. And that was one of the few races that Brianna wasn't taking me to the gate because I actually had a mechanic to help me out because of the malfunction I had at Millville. So had she been with me, she would have got that.
Dude, think about TJ. Every story he's told us, like all the bad stuff, like it's not really bad, but I didn't have the GoPro at the right time. Oh, my pipe's dented. Oh, the window blew out. Like Matt's just living, like he's having a great life, it sounds like, but just little slivers of stuff that just like, why? Just let something go my way, dude.
Yeah,
Come
on. Exactly.
Man.
Hey, I feel you guys on that one, but I always try to think if I just keep on doing what I'm doing, it'll turn around at some point. It can't be bad luck forever.
You got one more,
for the people that are listening, your YouTube channel is just your name?
Yeah, so if you just search Matt Burkeen, my channel should be the first thing that comes up.
Yeah, it is. I looked it up. I just want to make sure that was your channel.
Burkeen. Yep. Matt Burkeen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I've posted a couple of them on Vital. So, yeah, there's a few there. But, yeah, just go search them out.
Yeah,
subscribe.
Appreciate you sharing them for me, Darkside.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I've become a fan, man. I really just your vlogs and your attitude. And I like the behind-the-scenes stuff. So, like, I'll watch you ride on your vlogs, but I love all the behind-the-scenes stuff of vlogs. So I like seeing you and your girlfriend's dad and your girl. And
he's just checking your girl out. That's what he's saying.
That is part of it. Yeah.
We definitely try to keep it real. And this weekend we should have an interesting one because my girlfriend's actually not going to be able to attend either of these because she's got to work and then she's got something else going on. But I think I'm going back to Pennsylvania on Saturday by myself for a two-stroke race and then heading back here heading back here to race on Sunday in Virginia. So
That's
I don't even know what vehicle I'm taking or whose back window I'm going to bust out this weekend. But
it ought to be
we'll
entertaining.
figure it out soon.
I look forward to seeing the video about it.
Yeah. Well, we need to get you out here to Swan for the Pro Challenge.
Yeah.
So what weekend is that?
Do you remember, TJ?
It's October.
Yeah, I think it's like the first week in October, or I'll text you.
I don't want him to show up. He's too fast. He's going to steal money from Doc.
Well.
Let me know, because I think the first weekend in October I was looking at Kawasaki Race of Champions, and that's a little bit far too. So yeah. Texas is a haul, but like I say, racers race. So you line up a gate, I'm there.
TJ's looking it up.
I'm looking it up now, but yeah, and we'll find a place for y'all to come crash. You can stay at my place. I got a shop and all that stuff or whatever.
We could probably do a practice track probably too. I got a practice track like a mile from my house. That's a lot of fun.
Ooh, that could be my 5th practice of the year. Hell yeah.
It's September 30th through October 2nd.
Okay, there you go.
So
same weekend as K-Rock. So now I got a decision to make.
How much is the payout on that one, TJ?
Let me look here.
It's like 25, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm at work. 25,000 is the payout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's always a stacked one. So that'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
Well, let us know, man, and if you decide to head this way, we'll get you some logistics stuff set up.
Hell yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I'll definitely let you guys know.
All right, Matt. It was great talking to you, getting a chance to get to know you a little bit, and we'll get you on again soon.
Right on. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And, it was fun coming on shooting the shit with you guys. Hopefully we can do it again.
Absolutely, Matt.
Yes,
thanks,
sir.
man.
Yeah, no problem. You guys have a good one.
You too. See ya.
Bye.
It's Matt Burkeen. That was a fun interview. He's just got a great attitude, a great personality.
How could you have a bad attitude when you drive the country around racing a 2-stroke and have a relatively good results for riding the 2-strokes every weekend? Can't
argue.
Yeah. Great life.
It's a good life. It's a good life. All right, we'll be right back with Kade O'Grady. Okay, guys, we're back from our second commercial break of the night. Next up, brought to you by Works Connection. Since the inception of Works Connection in 1989, Eric Phipps's goal has been to produce Works-like products for the general public. With products like the industry-standard Pro Launch Start device, the Elite Clutch Perch, radiator braces, customized master cylinder covers, and much more, it's hard to imagine you not going to WorksConnection.com so you too can have what the pros use. Use promo code MOTOXPOD20 to save at WorksConnection.com. Tonight, Works Connection brings us from Rockstar Husky, TJ. This guy has moved his way up. Our buddy, Kade O'Grady. What's up, Kade?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good, man. It has been a while since we've had you on, and your career path has been on an upward trajectory. Currently, just finished wrenching for Dean Wilson, man. How was that?
Oh, it was rad. It was really cool working for Dean, and then just being with the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna crew. It's been awesome.
How did that come about? Like, I think last year you were working with Max Miller, right?
Yes. Yep.
Or even some this year, I guess.
I was with Max for years.
Yeah.
But when Nate Ramsey made the switch from Orange Brigade KTM to Rockstar, he got in contact with me after Supercross was over and said he had a job for me with Rockstar. And I wasn't sure who I was going to be working with, but I started off just as like a floater, just helping out wherever around the shop and just practice days and whatnot. And then they didn't have a guy for Dean when he came back off an injury. And yeah, I lucked out basically.
Well, and I want to get more into that, but first I want to get a little bit of your background. So people that are newer listeners to the show, back, I think TJ said like episode 70, which would in 2018, you came on. And I met you in St. Louis in 2018, and you had just finished the school, the Scott Adkins Pro Supercross Motocross School, and you were looking for work. And, man, like, you know, you were literally just trying to meet people that day. And, like, talk about the progression from there, working with privateer teams and privateers and working your way up. Like, how has that gone? How did those steps happen?
It's been pretty crazy. I've definitely lucked into a lot of positions, and I put in a lot of long hours, a lot of sleepless nights getting here. But yeah, I did in 2017 and ending in 2018. I attended the Pro SX MX Tech School in Morgantown, West Virginia, taught by Scott Adkins, and graduated out of that. It was about an 8-month long program. And like you said, when I met you, we were at St. Louis Supercross, and I was there handing out resumes, just talking to people, trying to get my foot in the door because I had zero race experience besides just local stuff.
Yep.
And I had talked to you, and you had set me up with Travis Delnecki, and that was the first race I'd ever worked. And I literally was handing out resumes to 30 minutes later being on the floor of my first Supercross race, wrenching for him.
So I am the key to your success.
I mean, obviously.
You started the ball, that's for sure.
Yeah, so at some point when you're working for a guy that wins a championship and you get a bonus, you just remember that. I'll
give you a shout out for sure.
Oh,
He's gonna shout out.
all right, Kade, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
You're not an agent, you know.
No, I don't get the 10% of the 10%.
No percent.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool to see how things have gone, man. I mean, I feel like it was at Houston a couple years ago. You were wrenching for somebody. And let me rephrase how I want to bring this up. Tell me, like, what's the worst mistake or the biggest thing you've done at a race that was like a full panic mode?
Oh, and you had to bring up Houston.
Yeah.
So 2019, I was working for JMC Husqvarna. The rider was Chris Howell that year.
Yep.
It was pretty chaotic. I was building the engines. Well, Chris and I were building the engines. And that year, I don't know what I was thinking. I got in a rush after washing the bike, and I left the blue paper towel in the airbox. And I came back to the truck, fired the thing up, and sucked a rag into the motor.
I've done that.
Me too.
I
have to.
Yeah.
I think everybody's done it.
Yeah.
But it's really bad when you're at a Supercross race and you got to race that day.
Yep.
So full panic mode, ripped the engine out, sent Chris off running around to other guys looking for a valve spring compressor because we didn't have one. Got the head torn off, got the valves ripped out of it. Luckily, none of the valves were bent. It didn't damage anything. We were able to shut it off in time. But there was a good 2 hours of me sitting there with a pick trying to pick all the little pieces of blue paper towel out of that cylinder head. It was – what's that?
I said that's funny because we did the same thing for Doc at Loretta's. We washed the bike.
Doc is his son.
Yeah, it's my son. And did this. He knows Doc.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and so he did the same thing, and I was sitting there, and we were getting like his moto was coming up, and I'm in there with needle nose pliers, reaching in and rolling the cylinder over and pulling the rags out, and then we fired it up. It was like confetti coming out of the exhaust. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, that same thing happened to me. Yeah, it's a terrible feeling when you do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I ran into Kade like shortly after I think they got the bike back together, and he was like, "Oh my God, you won't believe what I did," type thing. And I was like, "Ooh, like you just got to think in that pressure cooker situation, and how like the team's probably like, what the hell are we doing? You know, like who knows what everybody's thinking? Like I can't imagine what you were going through that day.
It was stressful. It was not very fun. It was not fun, but that night ended up semi well. We made it to the main events. It was a triple crown that night.
Yeah.
So we made it in, raced all 3 rounds. That was the same night AC crashed off the over-under bridge, and Chris ran into the back of him and went over the bars. And when he did that, he snapped both sides of the subframe. And being a privateer team, we didn't have spare subframes, so it was safety wire and zip ties to try to hold that thing together. And
for Supercross.
Winners take all.
For Supercross, yeah. And he stood up for all 3 main events because the subframe was broken.
Because you can't seat bounce.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you can't seat bounce like that either in Supercross.
No, yeah, there was no seat bouncing. If he seat bounced, the whole rear end of the bike would have just fallen off. Yeah, there was.
Okay.
It was that's probably one of the worst weekends of my career.
Yeah.
I mean, the subframe thing wasn't my fault, but still, like, yeah.
Just a bad day,
It wasn't a highlight, that's for sure.
But I think that's good for character and like, okay, like it taught you something, you know, like be more careful. Like it's, you have to have those, right? There's no way that any of the mechanics on the starting line at Supercross and outdoors haven't had that same day.
No, and that's luckily Tooley from AMA. He came up to me and he patted me on the back that same day and he goes, "Hey, I've been there. I've done it. 90% of these other mechanics in this field have done it.
Yeah.
It's what you take from it and what you've learned and how you move on afterwards.
Yeah.
And so if you look, I will never put a blue rag in an airbox again. If I put anything, it's a yellow microfiber because it cannot get sucked into the throttle body.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we use the big big shop rags that are like too big to get pulled in there now. Yeah.
I used a blue rag a couple years ago on my 06, and I that bike hadn't been ridden in years. And it might have been right when you put it back together, or I can't remember. But anyway, me and my buddy went out. He hadn't ridden in years. I was like, well, you can ride my 06. And like we went to Canton, Buffalo Creek, and he cranked the bike, pulled down the track. He's like, "Boh." It won't go anywhere. And I went, oh, God, it hit me instantly. I was like, I never pulled the blue rag out. Oh, shit.
The most amazing thing is how, like, at least for that Cowie that Doc was on, how twisted that rag came out the other end.
Yeah.
Like the amount of pressure and force, and it just, like, twirled it up. It was really weird.
So it's crazy, yeah.
How was it this last few rounds working with Dino on his way out? I texted him after I saw you at Paula that day about a month ago on the practice day. I texted Dean. I was like, "Hey man, how's it working with Kade?" And he goes, like he said, he's really good. Like he said, I wasn't sure to begin with because he didn't know who you were, but he said he's really good. So how was it working with him as a rider?
He told me he was definitely a little nervous, which is totally understandable. He has no idea who I am, and I'm just another guy showing up saying I can work on a dirt bike. But working with Dean was awesome. He is so down to earth, and he's just like with most of these guys, he's just another dude that just happens to be really fast on a dirt bike. Mm-hmm. But he is so humble, so kind. It was just really fun working with him.
That's good. Yeah, he's a good guy. I love hanging out with him.
So
yeah, he's a great guy.
Coming up, wrenching for, like right there where you're actually building motors, where we were talking about before, to working for Dean, like how is it there? Because I know a lot of the top riders like that, you're not doing every nut and bolt. You're not tearing the bikes down.
Grips and graphics.
I know it's more than grips and graphics, but how is that, like, how does it differ to you?
It's been a big switch going from the Miller program, who I was with before, to Rockstar Husky, where with the Millers, I was doing basically everything motorcycle related minus the suspension. So doing all the chassis stuff. I'd show up to Twisted Development. I'd build our practice engines, build our race engines. I would go into the dyno room with Jamie while he was messing with stuff, and I'd swap parts, trying to find power and all that. And then now with Rockstar, we have a suspension guy. He walks in and hands me a set of suspension. Our engine guys wheel over engines and set them on my bench. So now my sole focus is the chassis, it's nice. Parts of it are less stressful, but now it's trying to develop the chassis better to where, as before, I didn't have as much time. So now it's just solely just figure out this chassis, try to make changes, see what's going on, listen to what your riders' comments are, make notes of it. And then being factory, I have to relay this information to my managers, and they have to relay it to their managers. So it's been a big change.
Very corporate.
Definitely very corporate, yeah.
And we talked to Dino not too long ago about that, about coming back and how different the bike was. And he was like basically telling us he has no time on it. He's just kind of riding what he, you know what I mean?
That was Malcolm, I think you're thinking of.
Was it Malcolm?
Yeah,
no, it was Malcolm.
Yeah,
it was
Malcolm said that. Yeah,
that.
he's like, I'm not even going fast enough to know.
No, it was Malcolm. You're right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because Malcolm came back the same weekend, right? But yeah, it was Malcolm. But still, same concept. Hey, I saw that you worked with Thad this last weekend too, right? In the GNCC. How'd that go? And like, are that what you're going to do? Is you're going to float from wherever they tell you to go?
Well, so when I signed on with Rockstar, I was hired on to be an off-road mechanic.
Okay.
But the Moto Supercross team needed a guy just for the outdoor season. So luckily, my manager, Anthony, from off-road was kind enough to lend me to the Moto side for 3 months. I'm sorry. So I was able to work with Dean, but now that the outdoor season is over, I'm going to be full-time on the off-road side. And so this weekend was my first GNCC with Thad Duvall, and sure enough, I walked into a podium finish this weekend. So it was pretty cool.
That bonus is coming soon, TJ.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. How is that? Like, how does it differ? Because you're on a top level team with Dean Wilson, one of the stars of the sport, going to a top level team, one of the stars of the sport of off road. How does your is it? Yeah, it's pretty much you do the same stuff, or do you have more responsibilities, less? How is that?
So we do basically the same stuff. What's been different with what I've been going with is with the moto side, we've been on the new chassis is what we're calling it. The 2023, 22 and a half, 23.
Yeah.
And then with off-road, they don't have all our biggest issue is we don't have the oversized tanks yet for the 23 models. So we're still having to use the 2022 models. So that part's been a little different as I'm bouncing back and forth between two completely different chassis.
Right.
So, and everything from setting changes to how you route your wiring harness to parts, everything is 100% different. The new bike was built from the ground up with basically nothing fitting from the old bike.
Right.
So I'm having to memorize two completely different bikes and be able to do everything on them. And then it's really tough with the off-road is setup is completely different. We have solid rotors from drilled and slotted. We have the big oversized fuel tank.
We lost you, Kade.
We're going to blame you.
I haven't touched anything, Kade. If you're there, if not, I'll call you back. Write this timestamp down. All right, let's see if
Did he actually lose the connection?
No, he was still there, but I'll call him back. He wouldn't. He can't call me back because of the way the phone's set up.
You got me back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. We lost you.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, go back to what you were saying. Just you were talking about the suspension being different, and the setup on that.
So just the whole setup on the off-road bikes is completely different, from suspension to oversized fuel tanks to solid rotors. We're running different brake pads so they last longer, and then just skid plates that cover the linkage and just a bunch of stuff that's really foreign to me because I come from a motocross and supercross background. So it's been another really steep learning curve this past 2 weeks getting onto the off-road scene of things. But so far this last weekend, I've really enjoyed it. It's a completely different scene from the moto side, but it's really fun.
That's what I was going to ask. How is that? When you're
the day of the event,
event stuff, is because the pits are just open to everybody, right?
Are there fans coming up like, hey, can I get his plastic?
That's what's weird too, is I was expecting that.
Yeah,
and I don't think I had a single person ask me for anything. All they wanted to do was say hi, shake my hand, ask a couple questions about that or the bike or different things. But it's completely open pits. You've got motorcycle riders, you've got quad riders. They have an mountain bike series that races that whole thing. So you have 3 different groups of people coming together that are all just focused on an off-road event. So everybody's like-minded, but we all have a little bit different goals in there.
Okay.
But it's crazy. And then the biggest thing for me is we race on Sundays now. So that threw a whole nother curve for me.
Right.
Multiple years of Saturday racing. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be that guy since the fans out there aren't. But if you got any parts that you are about to get rid of that fit a Husky 350, just let me know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want any of the parts off the off-road bikes. Those things come back pretty hammered.
That's probably not. The 350 I'm riding right now probably has 2.5 hours on it, and it's in pretty good shape. So
exactly.
I don't need anything more trash. I just want some. Maybe if you had any of Dino's parts that would fit, or whatever. But yeah. I'll tell you what though, man. I was saying at the beginning of the show, that's the most fun bike I've ever rode. The 23 Husky 350 is by far the most fun bike I've ever been on.
The 350 has got to be one of my favorite bikes also. And then just behind that is the 501s. Those things are awesome for on-road and off-road. You can go literally anywhere on them.
Do you remember a couple years back when KTM had the 525s? They were like a motocross bike.
Uh-huh.
God, can you imagine putting a 501 motor in a moto bike? Oh, sign me up twice for that. I want to ride that.
Well, I just ordered a 23 501, and I'm planning on. I figured it out. I got a couple cylinder heads and pistons options that I can put in it, and the thing should be a ripper. So if you come out to California when I got it done, I'll let you take it for a spin.
It's gonna be set up for moto.
Yeah, it'll be a dual sport, but I'm setting it up for moto.
Oh, that'd be, you ride it to the track and then go.
I'll be out there. Well, I'll be out there for Hey, you want to come out and be my wrench for Vet Nationals?
If I'm free, yeah, let's do it.
Because he's challenged Steve Mathis to see who wins out of their signed up in the same class. So.
I'm definitely doing it just for bragging rights over Steve.
Okay.
We'll just rub it in his face a little bit.
Well, here's the thing.
If I win.
This puts more pressure on Jamie to have to actually beat him.
I don't really feel any pressure on it, to be honest. I don't. I was like, it's going to be fun. It is. Yeah, I think.
Look, you're about to have a factory. You had Dean Wilson's factory mechanic working for you. Oh, yeah.
So I have been like working out for the last month. So I'm actually been training. I've been riding bicycles. I'm doing like 20 to 22 miles a day. I'm quote unquote hitting the gym in my house. I'm hitting weights, crunches, eating better. I'm riding at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. So I am trying to be better. But like all honesty, Kade, if I go out and I get beat by Steve, I'm not going to be like, I don't think I'll be mad.
He should be.
But I want to beat him for sure.
Well, from what it sounds like listening to his show is he still hasn't even ridden up until this weekend up in Idaho.
Yeah, that's well, he rode Glen Helen with Kiefer last Thursday, and then he rode up in Idaho the last couple of days. And I did see the post today where he said TJ hasn't listened to the show yet. They were going to ride enduro cross, him, RV, and Weimer up at this place. They have an arena or enduro cross course.
Yeah,
and Weimer's reaction was like, what? We're riding that? The thing we saw when we came in? What? No, what? And it seems like, yeah, but what if I'm better than you guys? We don't know. We don't know. And RV's like, you have a better chance of going and winning blackjack big or whatever. But like his idea was like, what if I'm better? And today he posted, update, I'm not better. So anyway, yeah, the goal is to go beat him. So if you're free, dude, and you want to come out to Vets, that'd be a blast to hang out with you. And we'll see how it goes because I think I've got something for him. Physically, cardio-wise, I feel like I'll be better for longer. That's good.
I think so. I think he got him on that. I've never seen Steve ride, so I don't know about his bike skills. I'm assuming they're still pretty good from him being a pro before.
Sure.
But I mean, I have no idea. I'm going into it blind, so
he was a pro in Canada, though. I mean, come on.
God, you insulted a whole country.
Just making fun of Steve. But listen, so Kiefer told, after they rode last weekend at Glen Helen, Kiefer told Michael Lindsay, I think Steve might be a little bit better, but barely. But then I also rode like trash at Glen Helen. Which you
do most of the time when
and
you race.
That was the first time that I had rode. When Kiefer saw me ride, that was the first time I'd rode in 6 months.
Oh, he didn't.
Yeah, that was when I went and got the 2-stroke.
Oh, he didn't see you this last time.
No.
Oh, yeah.
So but then last Thursday when I was out there the week before Steve, I didn't ride very great either. Which actually, your guy, Dean, I almost cleaned him out before Paula. He didn't know it, but it was really, really close.
I think I saw your pictures.
Yeah, I asked him about that. You didn't see? Okay, so I posted on my Instagram, TJ, of Dino passing me at Glen Helen, like off my GoPro. I look over, and his helmet's so big it doesn't fit in the widescreen of the GoPro. That's how close he was. And
it looked like it was close.
Yeah, I asked him, like we bumped.
Yeah.
I asked him at Paul, I said, hey, dude, I'm sorry if I got in your way. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, Glen Helen, you passed me in that corner. He's like, I didn't even know. And then I sent him the picture. I was like, how do you not know this?
Thursday at Glen Helen for a pro.
He's like, he just laughed. Like we were 6 inches, our helmets were 6 inches apart.
That's awesome.
That's how close it was. And he didn't even know. But I do think
I feel like that happens a lot out there.
Yeah,
those
that's what
guys
I'm saying.
are just trying to pass everybody as fast as they can.
Right.
I think they bump into people more often than they think.
They don't. Yeah, probably so. Well, I feel like I'll have Steve covered. I really do. Not shit talking. I think I'm riding pretty decent right now, and by then that's another month and a half. I should be fine. So,
well, and remember, as long as you can get a start, because remember last time the starts were not great.
Nope.
So
that video might resurface.
You can pull a start on him. I think you can hold him off.
Yeah, that video might resurface right before Vets.
Just to mess with him.
Yeah.
I think you have to.
Of course,
you can't not let that go out.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, if you're free, dude, and you want to come out, it'd be cool to have you out there. But I know you're busy. So, but yeah, I'm really proud of you, man. It's really cool to see the progression. I mean, it really hasn't been that long. What, 4? Let's see, that's what, 4 years?
4 years. Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Especially going from Rockstar Husky the rides.
Rockstar Husky?
Yeah. Rockstar Husky from like Rides Unlimited. That was a loose program over there.
It was a good program. They definitely they're taking strides to get better.
Yes.
But it's just with anything. This is I think their second year pro, so they're learning every time they show up to a race.
They let us.
I know
hang
they
out,
had a couple staffing issues, and so they'd get comfortable with the guy, and somebody would leave. So every weekend it got better. So I give them credit. They're trying.
They couldn't be making that good of decisions if they let us hang out with them. So, I mean,
That's true. Okay, it's been great checking in with you, man. Really glad we finally got a chance to catch up. And do you think there's any chance you'll be back on the moto side in 23, or are you definitely off-road for the full year?
I'm definitely off-road for the full year. I'm not sure. I just have to apply for it basically if I want to.
Yeah.
I'm going to run this next year and just see how it goes.
Okay.
So far, I'm really enjoying it. So I could just stick with it. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to get a year under my belt and learn a lot and see how I like it, and then make a decision from there. As of now, I'm sticking with the off-road, but in the future, we'll see what happens.
Well, good for you, man. Again, I'm proud of you, and I love seeing you be successful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's pretty cool thinking back on when I talked to you the first time 4 years ago, whatever it was. And
episode
70. I listened to the show back and I was like, holy cow, I sounded like a 12-year-old.
Well, we sounded pretty crappy back then too. Hopefully we sound better now. So yeah, we've all grown. We've all grown a little bit.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, great talking to you, man. I hope to see you around, even if you just happen to make a couple, the Supercrosses, or maybe I'll see you at Glen Helen. I'll get it with you leading up to that and see if you're free.
Yeah, please do. If I have some time off, I'd love to do it. That'd be fun.
All right, Kade. Thanks, man. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you too. Thank you.
All right. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Kade O'Grady. That's really a cool success. Again, it's one of those stories where we see it all the time. If you go, you got to work hard. You got to almost work for free, and you got to grind. Like, I get asked a lot, how'd you get the job at Vital? How do I do something like that? Well, we've been doing this podcast for like 6 years, and we haven't got paid a dime. And I probably put in 10 to 15 hours a week.
How many times do you want to quit the show?
A number. I don't know. I don't know the number, but it's been a number. It was a number.
It was too high to count.
Yeah, it was a number. So, yeah, Kade did that, right? He went to the school, and like he said, he was out there. He went to St. Louis and handing resumes out.
Yeah.
Not going, hey, just hire me. I've seen that. Like, I saw a guy at Millville that was like, hey, man, can I work for you guys? What do I got to do? I want to work. Kade went it, and he did the gig, and he worked for privateers and probably made very little money. And 4 years later, he's with Rockstar Husky.
I think it's cool, and I also think that being on the off-road side is also a very positive thing.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely seems to be a very growing part of our sport. So.
Absolutely. Let's take our next commercial break, and we'll be back with Paul Perebijnos.
Let's do it. When is the vet World Vets or whatever? That might
be the first week. I got so many things coming up. Hang on.
Is it before or after Moto MXDN? It's
after, because MXDN is next weekend.
Oh yeah, I was thinking it was 2 weeks. Okay, yeah.
Me?
Okay, I was just asking.
It might be I think it's the first weekend of November.
I hope it's not.
I'm working.
Of course.
Let me look at my flights if I can find them. I just booked flights. Dude, I got screwed on flights. So this is a little YouTube. We'll do a YouTube rant.
Yeah, do it.
I bought tickets to go to Tampa, Florida in a couple weeks to go see Iron Maiden for me and Amber. Amber now can't go. So I canceled those tickets for her because her flight.
But you're still going.
Yes, I'm still going, but she can't go. So I canceled the flight. Well, because I paid for them, but it was in her name as the flyee. The credit went to her Southwest account.
Heck yeah.
So I was like, hey, I'm going to get on your account and book my flights for Glen Helen with that money. So I tried to, but it's like, oh, no, it's not the name. It wasn't the original name. So she gets the flight or the money, and she's not going anywhere anytime in the next year that she knows of. So I just lost $450.
So why don't you just go with you somewhere?
well, she might do that.
I mean, she's
but
gonna
right now, but it sucks. I wanted to use that money. Now I had to throw out another $400 something, and it's kind of BS. Let's see here. Flights. Where I know I got an email. Oh, here we go.
Their website doesn't have an address on it.
11-3. Their website doesn't have an address.
That's not.
What are you talking about?
I mean, not address. I mean, a date on it.
What website are you on? The MXDN
World
one?
Vets MX.
Yeah, you got to go to Glenn Helen's website. It's there. But it's 11. The 3rd is when I'm flying in, so it must be the 4th, 5th, and 6th of November.
Yep, I'm out on that one too.
Get a different job. Get a job that doesn't make you gone every time there's something cool.
Yeah, it's a price you got to pay to make money.
No, I mean, I'm making money. I bet most people are making some money. I make enough to survive, and I get to do a lot of cool stuff now. Get a different job.
I don't even know what to say to you sometimes.
Get a different job where you can go to moto stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to make as much money as you're making. Just get a better, different job.
I don't make that much money.
Make more money than I do.
Barely.
Really?
Yeah. Look at my tax return. I only make $30,000 a year.
Okay.
Look at my tax return. I only
right.
make $30,000 a year.
All right. We've got about 10 minutes before we get Paul on.
Does he say that? Or
Yeah, 6:10 his time. So, YouTube, just hang tight. I'm going to do something real quick, and then we'll talk about some of the other things we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
We can talk about.
Speaking of
the
video
Kawasaki
stuff,
intro.
Chase is in the live chat. You need to get with him on shooting photos and stuff like that. Those photos
He did. He shot some for me.
No, to teach you how to do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, he told me he would help me out, and then Tom Durnett told me just whatever, he'd help me out. So there's plenty of people, that will help me, but you're right.
Yeah.
I do need some. I want to watch some YouTube. That's actually, I think, what Chase says. Watch some YouTube videos. Somebody told me just go, put the camera model in there and watch the YouTube videos.
Oh, I got you.
But, yeah, hang on one second. I got to text somebody. You could talk, TJ.
Yeah, I'm about to say, we're about to lose the 19 watchers we have as they just sit around and let us do this.
Okay, you're being quiet still. Great. So when I went out to California this last time, I got to go to my first ever. Well, we got to hit record.
Oh.
Yeah, we might as well put this on.
All right, let's do it.
Then I have to stop again to get Paul on.
Then don't do
All
it.
right, let's
Go
just
ahead.
do YouTube only.
YouTube only.
YouTube only. So when I was out there in Cali, I got to go to the 23 Kawasaki KX250 intro.
That was your very first intro, too,
Yeah,
right?
that was really cool.
Yeah.
To go hang out. Jason Anderson absolutely, destroyed everybody on Pro Circuit on the 250 stock bike. Like, it was unreal. I just never seen anybody ride a 250 that fast that I can remember. It was crazy. But
wait, he was faster than all.
I don't know that for sure. He looked way faster. I didn't get lap times.
Didn't any of the guys on the two?
He looked like it.
Like, didn't Joe?
Yeah, he looked like it.
So, just out of curiosity, from what you saw there, obviously it's, a practice day. By what you saw, you think he could have been in contention for like a title in the 250 class?
I think so.
Wow.
He was unreal fast. There was like this, again, it's the first time I'd ever been to Paris.
You're about to lose your headset.
Yeah, it's kind of pulled back.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in my head. Anyway, there's like this uphill, and it's like a horseshoe, 180 turn up a hill and back
At
down.
Paris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like he went around that as fast as humanly possible, and maybe even faster.
Really?
You could just hear him, and I looked up and I was like, oh my God, he never shut off.
So we should have put him on the 250 for Motocross
Yes.
the Nations over Cooper.
I don't want to say that, but yes. It was nuts. I talked to him afterwards. I was like, oh my God, I've never seen anybody ride that fast.
What was his response?
He was just laughing, and we shot the shit about other stuff for a while. He's such a cool guy when you talk to him off the record.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just like, yeah, I don't know, man, just feeling good and just crazy. I don't know. Like
I thought he was like couldn't do MXDN because of like health issues.
Kawasaki doesn't want to do MXDN. I don't believe there's any surgery or health issues. Kawasaki does not want to do it.
Why would Kawasaki not want to do MXDN when it's here in America?
I do not have an answer for that.
Do you think it has to do with? Do you think it has to do with like management of the MXDN?
Yes. No, it's somebody at Kawasaki. Steve's talked about it. There's a particular person at Kawasaki that hates MXDN setup or whatever. Hates it. So he's got pull. I think I was told that Jason would love to do it.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. But it's not going to happen. So
that just makes me sad. Like I'm sitting here in contemplation,
trying to wrap my head around all that.
I don't understand. Like I guess what not only that bugs me, but the fact that the industry as a whole lets that person just lie to all of the people who, like, the fans of the sport. Oh yeah, Anderson can't do it, which he's injured or whatever. Instead of just coming out going, "Hey, we don't do Motocross the Nations."
Right.
Like, until there's changes, we won't do Motocross the Nation or whatever. Then people are terrible.
I agree. Paul P might be ready here in a second, so I'm keeping an eye on the phone. Yeah, but it was a really cool event. I've never got to do one of those, so it was kind of cool to see. I did tell you that I got to ride the 23 Honda 450.
Yes.
The time out in California. Before that, when Michael did the little intro, like just a one-on-one thing.
But that wasn't a press.
It wasn't the press time thing. Okay, Paul's ready. So we'll get back to the story.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're back from the last commercial break of the night. Our next guest, he's going to be brought to you tonight by Torque One Racing. Torque One Racing is based out of Texas. And are you laughing, Paul?
I'm not.
Oh, I thought I heard you laughing. Torque One Racing is a Texas-based company that's providing high-quality, economical performance parts. Check out TorqueOneRacing.com to see their complete line of products, including the Attack handlebar and Defy lock-on grips. Torque One Racing is they're not bad, TJ. You like their grips that you their bicycle grips.
Their bicycle grips are the best bicycle grips ever I rode with in my life.
Well, our next guest, who's brought to you by Torque One Racing, may disagree with that.
But they don't make bicycle grips.
Well,
yeah, we do.
For BMX?
Yes, we do.
Lock on?
Yes, we do.
I did not know that. Well.
Paul Perebijnos from Renthal. What's up, dude?
Hey, boys. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just at my son's football practice, throwing the ball for the dog, and
there you go.
Yeah, talking to you guys.
Heck yeah.
Well, I just wanted to get you on, talk about a couple different things. Let's start with a couple weeks ago, after Paula, the RaiseItForUSA.com golf tournament, and then the fundraiser stuff you were doing. How did that turn out in the end? Was that successful?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I had a lot of people tell me it was successful, so I appreciate them saying that. But yeah, I don't have a final total yet.
Okay.
But we're getting closer. But I want to say we are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 to 40 grand that we raised. So I'm quite proud of that. I had a kind of like a goal in my head of 30 grand.
Okay.
And yeah, we had some hiccups on the way. It's obviously the first time I've ever done anything like that before. But yeah, I think it went well. I was really trying to run an organized event. That was my biggest goal because obviously it was really hot. You were there, Jamie, and it was super hot. So I didn't want it to drag on. And I think we did that. So I was proud of that as well. And, yeah, everyone said they had a really good time. Hopefully it was presented well and it looked professional. That was my goal. And yeah, for the first year, I think it went pretty good. So yeah, I think it's going to be back for sure. For sure next year.
Well, it was my first ever golf tournament, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I thought it was very professionally ran. The course was beautiful. Like, I have so many of my buddies that play golf that were like, I played my whole life and I've never played on a place that nice. Like, that's not fair that you got to play at a place like that your first time. And you said you didn't want to drag on, and TJ, it didn't drag on for most of the players, but we got to the award ceremony that was almost over, and we had just barely gotten done because that's how bad we were, that it took probably an extra 45 minutes for us to finish. But the event, Paul, for me, it was a blast. I really had a lot of fun. I've been hitting golf balls today, actually, trying to get better. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you had a good time. Really the premise of the event and the idea is just to raise money for these teams to help them to afford to go to Motocross of Nations. And I know some people disagree with that, but I've been on a race team before that have sent people to Motocross of Nations. I've obviously participated as a mechanic in the past, and it's a lot of work, man. And it's after the end of the season, right, when everyone's been traveling all year long, and all these teams have been paying more money for diesel, I think, than they ever planned on this year, especially.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think this is this is the idea that will navigate everything it needs to navigate for this type of event, to kind of switch the feeling in the pits a little bit about this race and turn it more into a priority than and an opportunity than a burden, because that's really kind of what it's become, unfortunately. And I hate that it's become that. So I think, change happens slowly. I've kind of learned that, but I think this is the start of really good change. And, just being a part of Team USA over the last couple months, I'm just really kind of proud of what everything that's going on. I mean, I think, there's been a lot of skeptical ideas or thoughts around the team and around Motocross of Nations, but I can tell you one thing, man, we're preparing as best we can prepare. There's a lot of money being injected in this thing, and not just from me, from race teams, from the AMA. The AMA is spending more money on this race than anyone realizes. I promise you that. And I can't speak for everybody at the AMA, but as far as Mike Pelletier is concerned, I'll go to bat for that guy against anybody that wants to that has anything to say about him, because he's been an awesome dude through all of this. I think we share the same vision for this event, and that we're prideful of Team USA and our riders here, and we want to make sure that we go to this race this year and in years to come in a professional capacity, in a prepared way. And I think this is kind of a necessary thing that we have to do to do that. So I'm really getting excited for Redbud. I think, we've injected a little bit of energy into this thing, and that was kind of one of my goals too, is just to re-energize Team USA. I think we've done that, and I'm really excited for Redbud.
Yeah, speaking of that, of golf tournament and re-energizing people, I'll tell you the thing that came across to me, not being there, but seeing people's posts on Instagram, you made it look like it was just a lot of fun. And for somebody who doesn't really play golf hardly ever, like me, I still was like, man, I would love to be able to go do that, to either help raise money and then have a blast, because it looked like everybody there was having a lot of fun.
Yeah, and obviously that's the goal, right? Like, I'm a decent golfer, but I'm not good by any means. I probably play 5-6 times a year tops.
Yeah. So
I'm not a big golfer either, but golf is fun, and it's fun for everybody. And we tried to create an event that was kind of exclusive, it was $200 to enter, so it's not cheap. And that might even go up in the future, because I want it to remain exclusive. I don't want it to be just kind of like a big mess. But we had a lot of really cool prizes. I mean, we gave away $9,000 mountain bike. I think it's
right
around what it is. It was a Specialized Turbo Levo SL. We gave away a set of Falcon tires, a FMF full exhaust with some apparel, a set of custom wheels from W. There was a lot of prizes for people to earn just by, trying to knock it closest to the pin or longest drive. And then obviously our top 3 finishing teams all got prizes and awards and stuff. And I think everyone had a really good time. Yeah. The beers were flowing a little bit, and a lot of banter and shit talk, and, live on Spot TV, which was cool. That didn't exactly pan out because reception at the course was really rough. They even had Elon Musk's Starlink out there trying to get it to work, but yeah, it was a struggle. There was just no service at the course. So I believe you can watch the replay on their network. But man, I think for year one, I'm pretty pumped how it turned out, and we'll see what the schedule turns out to look like when it's released. I know it's pretty darn close. I've already kind of seen the first version of it, and I think, I'm positive that, a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to be racing later, and we're not going to be able to attend Motocross of Nations, but, that was all kind of, I did all that vetting out before I even started to do all this work, and
right.
And I've been assured that there will always be Motocross of Nations placed on a date to where Team USA and everyone in the world can attend. So It's going to be a little bit later next year. It'll be in Ernay, and it's going to be in mid to late October. It's going to be cold, but Motocross of Nations is here to stay. It's not going away, and it's always going to be on a good date that we can attend. So I think it's time to get ourselves organized and start prioritizing this event and get back to our winning ways. I mean, we got a really strong history at this event, and I just hate to see what has happened over the last 10 years. Not winning and not being as competitive. So I think we're going to get back to where we belong.
Speaking of going back to the history, it kind of leads to what I was going to ask. You are being more and more involved with the Team USA, and can you tell the listeners, from being a moto fan forever and then now seeing the complete different side of Motocross the Nations, like, what are you seeing now that opens your eyes or makes you look back and go, oh, I was wrong about what I thought here, or whatever?
Definitely the work and financial support that AMA is giving has been a big surprise to me, right? We all hear that, they can't do much, but there's so many costs associated with this thing that people have no idea about. And the AMA is injecting thousands and thousands of dollars into this thing. Just to give a little tidbit, I just returned from kind of like a training camp that we did with all our riders. So we were at an undisclosed location. I'll say it was within driving distance of Redbud. So we were kind of like on similar soil. We had really good weather. Actually, we had really rainy weather the first day on Monday, and then we had sun on the second day. We had grates out there. We had starting gates and grates. So we practiced a hell of a lot of starts in the wet, in the dry, with a scoop, without a scoop. We had Thule there to test sound. So all these guys were testing all their bike for sound. We had guys mapping bikes to, adjust for the fuel. We're doing everything we can. Awesome. All the guys were hanging out, just kind of bullshitting. We had multiple dinners and lunches together. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're the best team we can be come September 24, 25.
Yeah, I heard the rumors that the boys got together to ride a little bit, and I think that's cool too. Just the fact that they probably don't know each other that well, and to build a little of that camaraderie that you even talked about when you were on Pulp recently, like, having the guys together, that's something you're working towards for the MXDN race, to have a place where all the guys can go kind of be together. But I think that's important that they spend a few days together ahead of time.
Yeah, it really is. And just so much came out of these 2 days that I didn't expect to come out of it, right? We all had a plan to do starts, do sound, do fuel, things like that. But just the hanging out and the broing down, we've talked race strategy, we've talked gate pick, we have a plan, and everyone's on the same page. I think the toughest thing with this race is to get everybody that's participating to check their egos a little bit and,
Sure.
and get on the same page. And that's hard, right? When everyone is battling each other for all year long, to then 2 weeks later ask everybody to be a team. It's not easy, right? Like, everyone's wearing a red shirt or a blue shirt, and they're racing for teams and manufacturers that are competing not just for wins, but for selling motorcycles too. So there's a lot involved, a lot of money involved, but man, it was a great 2 days that we spent together. It was just the riders and Team USA management. So it was really small gathering, small team, but a great 2 days. And because of it, I'm just even more excited for Redbud now.
Oh, that's good.
So as you grow with the getting more and more involved with Team USA, I've heard buddies and people talk about like running, like they would love to see like Puerto Rico be like USA B team, and maybe get rid somebody who didn't make the team who was close, like Christian Craig or somebody, to like be the top rider on that team, and if something happens to one of our riders, they could roll over or something like that, so they would be ready. Has that ever been discussed or anything like that?
Not with regard to Team Puerto Rico. I think that's just totally separate. And that's adding a lot of complication to the deal. But just my role currently, it's Team USA development consultant, right? So I think it's things like that, like, hey, why don't we select 4 guys so we have a reserve guy ready, similar to what Italy did this year, or let's make more of a spectacle of announcing our team, and let's have this golf tournament to get fans and industry involved to all pitch in a little bit to help the team. So it's really about, again, energizing the team and kind of organizing some things and thinking differently and thinking with the times, right? Like, the last time we won this race was 2011. I think social media was barely around back then.
Yeah,
right.
And there's not many riders on the starting gate. Dungey raced this year. He knows what it's like to win that race, but Eli's never won this race. Chase never been there. Justin's gone once and it went badly. So, there's so many riders at the pro level now that are racing every weekend that don't know the feeling of winning the race. I've kind of forgot the history of how good Team USA has been at this race. And our fans too, our American industry and all our fans, even kids at Loretta Lynn's, they probably think that the Europeans are just better than us. And yeah, they have raised their level in the last 10 years.
Watch your mouth, sir.
Go ahead.
I said, watch your mouth, sir.
Yeah. They're good over there, right? And I sponsor a lot of those guys over there too. I go to GPs every single year. They deserve a ton of respect, but at the same time, our athletes here in the U.S. are badass too.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
We can compete 100%. So I hope that we're going to show that.
Has your percentage of that you talked about on Pulp of whether we can win or not, has it gone up in the last couple of weeks, or are you still where you were? I think it was like 50%.
Oh, is that what I said?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I
said
mean,
50%, but yeah.
I hate to put a percentage and predict that type of stuff. Like, I mean, the goal is to win, right? That's everyone's goal.
Yeah.
And we have a plan. We're organized. All we can do is prepare the best we can, try to execute to the plan that we have. And, you know, but man, this is a tough race. A lot of weird things have always happened, and it could happen to anybody. So all we can try to do is prepare and be aware and be reactive to anything that happens. And I think we're going to communicate well. And I think that'll make a big difference come race day. So I'm optimistic that we can do it, but man, that's why we go racing. You just never know.
That's
so
true.
We'll see.
Okay. I've got a couple. I want to get to Renthal, a couple questions about Renthal, but before I do that, two more about the golf tournament. One, Michael Lindsay asked you when we were leaving the facility if you maybe do it on one on the East Coast, do one somewhere else. And I had a couple people actually reach out to me on social and go, man, I wish they would do that out here. And you said, hey, I want to build this thing slow. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But what are your thoughts on trying to do different locations to get more people involved?
I think, well, right now I'm still going to consider it as one tournament. Like
okay.
I've had even people reach out to me on Twitter, say, hey, why don't you do an East Coast version, a West Coast version? That would add a lot of cost to it.
Sure.
Just for me personally, like being in Southern California, being close to the vendors that helped us activate this whole thing, that cut a lot of the cost out of it. And so much of the industry is located in California, right? So I want to put it at a time that's convenient for everybody and I want to put it at a time that it's better weather than what we had this time. So, I mean, we learned a lot from the first one. Really, it's gonna take waiting for the schedule to come out to see, what dates everything's at, where the nationals are, what dates they're on, and then our super motocross events and see where those are at. And then we'll just try to pick the most convenient date that we can to allow as many people to attend as possible.
Okay.
And I mean, we had so many ideas of, hey, let's do an auction, let's do all these different things, let's do a ball drop. I mean, there is tons of ideas. I mean, if you just go look at Ryan Scheckler's foundation, his golf tournament, that's a great example of kind of like what I want to shoot to grow that to, and he raises so much money. So, I mean, I think it's a slow burn. Just through my experience in kind of running and managing brands, change can't happen as fast as you want it to because sometimes you just bite off too much that you can chew, and it doesn't pan out right. So really, I just want to make slow gains every single year, try to set a higher monetary goal every single year, but most of all, provide a fun event for everyone just to kick their shoes off and have a good time and a good value for the players that are showing up, right? Like, I mentioned earlier, they paid $200 to play, but you get the opportunity to win a lot of cool prizes, I think, for that. We weren't really too aggressive as far as selling things at the course on the day of. I wanted people to say, hey man, I got a lot of fun and a lot of opportunity for my $200. So that fee may grow in the future and it really depends on the course. Courses are expensive to rent. That was a huge expense for us. But man, we learned a little bit and we'll try to learn more and we'll try to just continue to make it better. And I can't say or know where it's going to be at yet, but we'll do our best to make it as big as we can and accessible for everybody as we can.
TJ, I want to say there was a lot of different, like he talked about closest to the pin, longest drive, and they gave all these prizes away. Well, when you suck as bad as I do, didn't even get close to any of these prizes. And Paul knew that I wanted a set of these purple bars, and he had a couple in his van. So I feel like I got worst golfer.
Yeah.
He gave me two pair. He gave me a twin wall and a fat bar.
And
so
for worst golfer,
farthest from the pin. That's what I feel like.
Farthest from the pin. I got you.
Like my farthest or closest to the pin last drive, I think it went like 10 yards probably. And the guy that was like hosting that hole, his wife, I guess, was there, and she literally was laughing at me. I was like, "Are you laughing at me?" She said, "Yeah, it's pretty funny." So
yeah, and I mean, we have some more and again, that's the thing. What you mentioned there is I want to make sure it's cool for everybody, not just good golfers, right? For bad golfers too. So we did have some random prizes that we gave away.
That's awesome.
That had nothing to do with golfing. We just pulled I think we had 4 different prizes that we just pulled names out of a hat basically and gave them away. So we'll do more of that. But I mean, there's so many ideas and so many cool things to do. But man, I need help, right? I need volunteers. I need extra staff. It was really just me, my wife. I had Aiden Zing and Vincent Way helping out, my son helping out. I mean, I had kids at the holes trying to help. So it was really hard to get volunteers to come out in 105-degree heat.
Sure.
So yeah, if I can get more help, we can do more things. But yeah, first and foremost, it's a fundraiser. So, but at the same time, I think everybody should make some money. So, I got a lot of ideas. We'll try to make it better. And yeah, that's all I can try to do is, I guess, make it better,
That's probably what MotoX Pod should do next year, since we're terrible golfers. Just go, donate our time.
Yeah.
To help it out.
Yeah. Well, by next year,
better than golfing.
I'm going to be a lot better by next year. I mean, I hit some drives today that Tiger Woods would have been jealous of.
The funny thing is, Paul, you don't know this, but he was terrible and had never played before, and he would make these jokes about how dumb golf is and golf is stupid and I can't believe people. And now he's like, I'm gonna get better. And he got that bug, like you started something, added something to his life there.
Yep.
Well, he's a dirt biker through and through, right? Jamie's a motorcycle enthusiast, and that's why I think so many motorcycle guys are fans of golf, is because we love to challenge ourselves, and it's you look at it and you're like, oh, it's such a simple game. I could do that.
Yeah.
But dude, it's so goddamn hard.
Oh,
yeah. And there's so many, you can learn so much and improve so much. And it's a challenging game. And that's why I think so many of our riders and industry like to play golf, is because it's a kind of like a low activity, right? But you're still outside doing something and you're challenging yourself. You're competing. You can go with your friends, your buddies. I mean, there's so many cool games you can play with your buddies just on the golf course to make it fun and exciting. So I think that's why so much of us like golf, is because we're just all competitive and we want to beat each other.
Exactly.
That's right. So we're getting into some questions about Renthal and stuff like that. And I had a question, why y'all don't promote the tapered grips that much? That may be one of the most innovative, get rid of arm pump products and most comfortable grips I've ever ridden with on a dirt bike, is those tapered grips. And I was just always curious why they weren't promoted and pushed more.
I don't have a good answer for you, really. That's on me, I guess. I need to, sometimes, when we look at things to market and what to promote, it's dictated by sales results, right? So we'll review I do monthly reviews every year, every month. I have kind of reports to do and kind of financial reporting on how the business is doing, and especially with just with off-road, that's kind of like the segment that I manage. So and we will get down to looking at product families and all the way down to product SKUs, and that kind of dictates a lot of the times what we advertise and what we market. I don't have a good answer for you why we don't. The only thing I could say why we don't is because it sells so good already. It's one of our most popular grips, like the Kevlar and the Ultra Tacky tapered grips. People do love them. They're long lasting. They're easy to put on. You can't really damage them by putting them on. They're pretty tough, yet they're still pretty soft in your hands, and they wear well. So yeah, they're a popular grip for us.
I talk to people all the time, and they're like, what do you mean tapered grips? And I tried to explain to them, if you make a fist, your hand is naturally this taper. And because I worked at a parts counter.
You've talked about that on this show multiple times.
I absolutely love those grips, and nobody I ever talked to knows about them.
Yeah, I think now that you bring it up, I believe Jet switched to that grip maybe around High Point. Actually, he was running just a soft single layer grip, and he switched to our Kevlar tapered, I think, or maybe it's the Ultra Tacky tapered. I got to check my notes, but yeah.
If they ever decide to get rid of those, you let me know, because I'm going to order a crate of them.
Oh no, we ain't getting rid of them.
What else is going on with Renthal? I know the cloth bar pads are they available yet, or is that still you're not quite yet?
I got to check. Full transparency. I've been on vacation since the golf tournament. I took all of last week off, and then obviously to go to this Team USA training camp, I took another Monday and Tuesday off, like personal vacation days, right? Because it wasn't a Renthal event and it was a Team USA event, so I took vacation days off to go to that. I think the last I checked, the cloth bar pads were on the water on the way to the U.S., on the way to all distributors. So you never know how long that's going to take, especially today. There's always backups at ports, and it takes a while to get to the distributors, and then they have to go through break bulk and disperse it all out to their warehouses, and then finally it goes to the dealers after that. So it's a long process, and it's been more complicated than I've ever dealt with in my entire professional career. And that's just because, and that's the state of the environment and the economy and everything, right? Everything's kind of backed up and it takes longer than it used to. So But yeah, they should be at dealers very, very shortly. I would say within a couple weeks. We obviously did the purple handlebars back in Atlanta, and that was really an exercise because one of my big things, that I kind of have brought to Renthal that I'm a stickler about is I'm really adamant about having something new to talk about at least every 12 months. The apparel companies, right? They have different fall seasons and it's different with a hard parts brand and with a brand like Renthal. Like it takes us a lot of time to develop a product. We're not just building a different graphic or a different color on the same block of pant or the same block of jersey, right? So, the purple idea was really because a lot of our product development stuff has been so delayed due to ripple effects of COVID, right? Like material shortages and staff issues and, just having so much production work to do, right? Everybody in the industry was experiencing such a boom for a while through COVID that we had so much work to do that it's kind of hard to like stop a machine that's just running 24 hours producing product to fill dealer orders to kind of, work on some prototypes, right? We had so much work to do. So because of that, a lot of our product development plans got delayed. And the idea behind purple was like, man, we got to have something new to talk about. So let's just take something that we have and make it a different color. That at least is something that doesn't require product development, right? And that's another thing with the vintage bar pads. It's probably also from Steve and him barking at me and kind of getting all of social media barking at me about, hey, we want these things. So that was another thing that we were able to produce. So, but we have a lot of cool products in the hopper that we've been working on for a long time. I think you'll start to see some of them next year. And I'm vague about that because it's different at Renthal. It's different than any other place I've worked before. Obviously, you have a timeline many times and a marketing plan and a strategy and a rollout plan. Really, at Renthal, the way we do it is all of that stuff comes second to the product. If the product needs more work to get to perfect, then we're going to move the timeline. Like, we don't care about the timeline. It's about the product first. So I don't have any concrete details as to when things will be things will be coming out, but next year we do have some new products that will be coming out for sure, and you'll hear about them when they're ready.
Okay, we got 2 more questions for you.
I've got a question here from a listener, and I don't know anything about what they're asking, and hopefully you will, but they said to ask Paul about his thoughts on Kenny's recent Renthal chain and sprocket post.
I just sometimes things fail, right? I think that was just a freak part failure.
Oh, so I didn't know about that. I feel bad now.
He probably shouldn't have posted it.
Yeah. Well, it came down pretty quick, but yeah, with social media the way it is, a lot of people got it screenshotted, and
Well,
of course,
Since we're talking about something that's not pleasant, I just want to thank you for being a part of what ruins racing for me and the fantasy stuff.
Fantasy.
Like, I'll tell you how bad it is. About 2, maybe 3 rounds ago, I work nights, so a lot of times I can't watch the races. And so I'm watching the races back, not live, and I'm like enjoying it. And then I just happened to look at what my score was for the weekend, and it was like 310. And I'm like, screw it. I just turned the race off. I didn't care anymore. Like,
yeah, we've all been there. I've been the same way. I've learned to not let it affect me.
Yeah. Same.
All you can do is pick the best guys you can, but you can't affect what they're going to do on the track. But that's the frustration and the joy of fantasy. It's so much fun to play. Like, we're in the middle of fantasy football right now, and I'm all about it. I love it. But yeah, as far as, we have that live scoring feature on our website, the PulpMX Fantasy website, which is the coolest tool ever, right? Like, I mean, even Weege is using it during the day to help crunch just normal overalls for his announcing, because we have our dashboard shows so much cool information.
Exactly.
Mark's has done an amazing job with it. But yeah, like, the live scoring is a blessing and a curse. I try not to look at live scoring during the day and just try to watch the race so I could, see what guys are doing and who's fading, what's happening. Because if you are glued to live scoring, you miss a lot of the racing. So but yeah, man, that's an exercise in self-discipline to do that.
Well, I'm about 10 years into playing fantasy because I've played with other sites and stuff before. And I'm contemplating a retirement from fantasy because it's killing me, man.
Yeah, man, I feel you. It's but at the same time, it's just too much fun to put down. Like, there's just so much banter between me and my friends. Like, I've tried to, like, not play industry idiots in the past. Like, I'm like, God, it's just so competitive, I want to win because there's so much money on the line and I get emotional over it. But I've learned to put that aside, and you probably will as you get older, maybe like I have. But
he's old as shit.
But I just honestly, the group texts that are born out of fantasy is worth it to me.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Agreed.
Our group message has people who are devout Christians dropping the F-bomb. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's great. And I just love it because it brings people together. Like, I mean, my example is fantasy football. I still, I'm born and raised in Florida. I moved out to California in 2008 to take a job at Pro Circuit. But, how I keep in contact with all my friends that I grew up with racing in Florida is through fantasy football. So I think a lot of people are getting the same thing out of our PulpMX fantasy game too. So, yeah, it is frustrating at times, but at the same time, it's really cool, I think, as well.
Yeah, and then one more thing from a listener. They said Nesbeth said that they won a pair of the purple bars on Pulp, and they are awesome, and he really appreciates them.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear. Yeah. I brought, I think, maybe 8 pairs up to Steve to kind of give away on his show.
Yeah.
I really love that we're a sponsor of his show now and proud to be, affiliated with Steve. He does a really good job, and he has such a cult following, and he's funny, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. He has a great sense of humor, and yeah, he does a great job. So if you want to, I mean, it's almost become the place to go and promote things. Like, we can do all kinds of social media campaigns and campaigns across all the websites, but man, going to Steve and being a part of his program and supporting him. And then when he can support, he really does a great job at providing a really good value to the sponsors that support him. And he's great at helping spread the word about what we're trying to get people to know about.
It's almost as good as the MotoX Pod show. I'm just saying.
That's what I've heard. He said he's modeling his entire show after the MotoX Pod show. I heard.
There you go.
Well, hey, listen to this here real quick before I let you go.
Always doing something cool. The guys at the MotoX Pod show. I love the MotoX Pod show. It's completely different. And it's completely original. It's completely cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I guess from the horse's mouth.
Paul, man, thanks for having some time for us. I think we probably kept you a little longer than we were supposed to, but I appreciate you doing it, and I'll see you next week.
I can't wait. We'll be there. Let's do this thing, boys.
All right, we'll get it done. Thanks, Paul.
See ya.
See ya. That's Paul Perebijnos from Renthals.
God, he's going to be so busy next week because you have people who follow and listen to him on like the fantasy pod stuff. You have people who listen to him on Pulp, then Renthal, then just knowing, him being around the industry, then also the team and his new position there.
Yeah.
Next weekend, it's going to be just
a madhouse.
For him, it's just going to be a complete madhouse.
Yeah. Let's wrap this thing up. Before we go, I was talking about the bike intro. I was just basically saying that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But by the time, so Michael was there to be the main guy for Vital to ride the bike. So he rode the bike for like 3 hours. Changing different settings for the article and the post he's going to do. And about noon, lunch came, and they catered Chipotle. Mm-hmm. And I ate 2 full bowls. And that was about 12:20. And then Michael came up and said, "Hey, man, it's your turn." I was like, yeah, I really just got done eating literally 2 big bowls of Chipotle.
Fat boy.
And then Aiden Kiefer, I had rode with Aiden Chris. He's like, "Hey, Dad wants to leave at like 2. I'm like, I got like 30 minutes, and I just ate. So my laps were terrible.
So is it like swimming? You're not supposed to like go ride after you eat?
I felt like doo-doo. I didn't want to ride. I didn't care to ride. The track was destroyed.
Harrison.
In the morning, it looked really good. They had done a lot of work, and those guys were saying that was about the best, some of the best they'd ever seen it.
Yeah.
I didn't get to ride it like that. So that was really bad. And then I rode Glen Helen on Thursday, which I kind of already talked about, and that was really bad.
That's something I noticed about the California tracks. When they go away, they go away.
Yeah. It was like riding on concrete, and it was just choppy and breaking bumps, and it wasn't fun at all. Square edges. So I didn't really have a great time riding out there. So I did look like when I rode out there though, I was like, God, why am I riding so much worse in California than I do at home? Obviously the dirt's a little better, but I think part of it was just other circumstances that led to that. So anyway, Bet Nationals should be fine.
Yes.
I think I'll be fine, even though the track's going to be beat.
This will be your 3rd time at Glen Helen?
Like ever? No, I've rode there twice in the last couple months, and I raced Bet Nationals a few years ago. So it'd be my 4th time.
4th time.
Total, yeah.
You should have it dialed.
I'm getting way more comfortable on the hill.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually accelerating down the hill now, whereas the first time I was like, I'm on the brakes and I keep gaining speed and I'm scared to death. So
you got to trust those ruts at the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, on the 350, I haven't got to ride the 350 there yet, and I think I'll be way better on that bike.
Heck yeah.
Because the two-stroke, it's a little more work.
Yes, it is.
Okay. A Cherubies USA, Race Tech, Fly Racing, X-Brand Goggles, Works Connection, Torque One Racing, R Jerky, Berm Lords Graphics and Jersey ID, Shock Socks, Williams Motorworks, Extreme Colors, Blood Lubricants, Power Band Racing, TruFusion Sports, Grill Your Ass Off, all great sponsors of the MotoXpod Show. I want to thank Matt Burkeen, Paul Perebijnos, Kade O'Grady, TJ for coming in studio. Scott, you suck for not being here. Anything else, TJ, before we go?
Well, that's nothing for me. We're going to make Scott edit this, so all the dead time and everything, we'll put that on him, right?
I cannot guarantee there will be a show next week. I'm sorry, guys. I leave out Wednesday to head to MXDN.
What time are you leaving Wednesday?
4 or 5 o'clock to drive to Dallas, but I got to get the wrap-up show in at some point. That has to get done next week, so that might go on Tuesday now. I can't promise you guys anything on next week. We will get back to having regular shows. It's just right now I'm traveling a lot, and with the wrap-up show, it's just a lot on my plate. So
it won't be long. With next year, things will be leveled out easier.
Yep. The wrap-up show will be over, so I'll have more nights, and we might actually move this show to a Wednesday or Thursday.
So I get to be in?
Oh, never mind. We won't move it.
Thursday would be amazing.
What day would be the worst for you?
Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, Monday. No, I don't want to go up again. So we'll keep it Tuesday then. No, it'll probably be Wednesday or Thursday. But we'll let you guys know as it happens. Episode 244. We're out. Thanks, guys.
All right, YouTube. I'm gonna try to. I just talked over that, didn't I? I forgot that you do all that during the show now.
When I remember.
Yeah. So anyways, YouTube, I appreciate you guys for playing along. I did see all y'all's comment about the time delay. I did some Googling just now. Maybe I can help fix that. Scotty should have fixed that a long time ago. One more